Okay, so we're back. So from the previous video, okay, we created the region, okay, that volume region where we're going to apply our source. And also to remind you, let me go here, close some files, have the same mesh. The only thing that we did was this, and this is perfectly valid, okay? We can run, there is no problem, but now let's go the next step. So remember, this is valid, already valid for MRF, but you might have that problem of interpolation, okay, close to that surface, the surface in common between that region and the external mesh. It's up to you if you want to apply the trick that I mentioned at the boundary layer. Honestly, I think there is no need, but sometimes if you want to test it, it's up to you. So the next step will be the NCC that is not compulsory for the MRF, but it will be compulsory for the sliding mesh. So let's do it here, and let's move here to the NCC. So I have my previous mesh. I didn't add the boundary layer. You can add it and then move to the NCC. There is no problem, and go here right ahead without that one. So the steps here is that you need to use this one, create buffers. Okay, so buffers, what it's going to do is create, and for this, let me open again the mesh so you understand better if you're not familiar with this structure that we have so far. So I use the paraview option just to get access. That is a plugin now to get access to these zones, but also you can use font to VTK to convert those sets and access that if you want to use the standard paraview build or paraview built-in. So look at your structure here, what you have in your mesh, that you have a rotating cell, which is that volumetric region, okay, that you can apply your source there, or you can put into rotation, or this is the phase zone, okay? So, but look at that, you have a single phase zone common between two regions, the internal mesh and then the external mesh. To point out, so if you visually inspect here, you will see that there are some snappy niches. So remember, always the solution in finer meshes. Usually it's not to increase the number of iterations, it's more likely make it something finer and it will solve the problem. This case, not big of a deal, but if for you this is a problem, just increase another refinement level, or use any of the tricks that we studied previously. You can use a finer background mesh, okay, or you can grow here the edges using the distant modes. Many techniques that you can apply to address that issue. Okay, so what we're going to see here, and look at that, we have just one single phase there, okay, that's all. So to create the NCC, the idea is that first create buffers. So let me go and create buffers. It will read a dictionary. So let me open that dictionary. And basically look at that, what we're doing is creating from a single patch or zone, in this case a phase zone, create two phases. So take this single one, and then create two phases, perfectly matching phases, by the way, with this name, NCC1 and NCC2. You can give it any name, no? It can be, previously this was AMI, or you can call it patch 1, 2, but whatever. And you can select multiple regions, by the way, okay? There is no problem. So in this case, take one single phase and now create two phases, perfectly matching phases. But at this point, those phases are topologically connected. Means that, yes, when you do this one, create these two phases, you can put the body into motion because you have two phases, but as the phases are connected here, one phase will drag the other and your mesh will deform immediately. It will crash. So the second step here is split buffers. It is going to do basically that. So I think this one, okay, it's not reading a dictionary, so it is splitting those couple buffers, and now those two meshes are separated, topologically separated. And let me go here and let me use this step to show you. Copy, I can close this one, paste, So basically create buffers from 1, it will create 2. And using the override option, and if I go back here, okay, remember, first step we had a single patch, but look at now here, we have those 2 patches. Okay, still you have your previous one, but now you create these 2. And to show you, they are perfectly matching patches. But they are topologically connected, meaning that if one is moving, it will drag the other one. In our case will be, let's say that NCC2, it will be the one that it will be directly linked with external mesh. So this one shouldn't be meshing. It should be receiving information from the other patch, from NCC1 that is moving. And this one, NCC1, which is the one that I will link to the internal mesh, the mesh that is moving, or not necessarily because it can be also fixed for the MRF, will be linked to that one. It will pass information to the other. And this is what is happening. There is an exchange of information between NCC1 and NCC2. There can be fixed or there can be moving. Usually you do this stuff to put it moving, but in the MRF, as I mentioned, sometimes it might be better to reduce some errors, okay, that we're going to see later. So basically this is what is happening. Remember, they are topologically connected. So if I use this command here, split mesh, so this is to tell you know the regions. How many regions do you have? So here it is already telling that you have 2 regions, okay? So easy peasy. And these regions, when you do this one, would say that it's creating folder 0, you have the region information, you can visualize that. But remember that everything is connected, so let's use this step. And with this step, okay, let me put it here. Why is cutting it? We are going to split the meshes. Okay, so split buffers, override, and there you go. So basically that connection has been eliminated. Now the patches can move. And that's all, okay? They have been disconnected. So at this point, I can do something like, I can put the mesh into motion, okay? But before running, and it will work if I put this mesh into motion, let me go move, move mesh. Okay, for list time minus. Okay, so let me go a little bit. So probably it's better here. Move mesh serial. Okay, so when we go into the NCC, we cannot. But let me move. Let me copy this here. MRF. Move serial. Yeah, actually here it's not going to move because I don't have the dynamic mesh dictionary. You need to add that dynamic mesh dictionary. Okay, but in any case here later when we do the NCC, that one you will see that is going to move. So the next step will be, okay, this one. It will create the non-conformal patches. So at this point we only manipulated the mesh. We haven't created those patches that we need to do to use this approach in OpenFOAM, these slided meshes. So these are just numerical based patches that you need to create. Okay, so this one will read a dictionary. So let me go here. So basically what we're going to do is that create a non-conformal patch. You give it this whole name to this combination, and then you put the name of the patches, NCC1, NCC2. You can have multiple patches, so you have more, and that's all. Transform none, no transformation, but also here you can have some transformation, translation, rotation, and so on, but in this case, no transformation, and that's all. Okay, so when we do this step, and will be this, let me copy. And before doing that one, also just to show you here boundary, when you open this file, you have all your boundary conditions. But look at here that you have 10 boundary conditions. You have this NCC here, but this is not the correct definition of the NCC, okay? To have the correct definition of the NCC, you need to use this utility that it will do everything automatically, okay? So according to that information, and when you do that here, you can already get an idea how good or how bad is that matching between the NCC1 and NCC2, okay? So look at that here, it's giving you this error. So this one ideally should be close to 1. See that this is not a problem, maximum value. You have this one, there are a couple of cells that we're having problems. So later, now in the NCC case, we push the mesh into motion. I'm going to see how to also visually check the mesh into motion. CheckMesh can save that information. There is no issue, but pretty much from this, we see that there is not big of a deal here. You have some other quality metrics, okay, openness, error, angle, and so on. So usually this one should be close to 0, and then angle. Also ideally you want it close to 0, the angle between different patches and so on. But okay, you have it there, and this is it. This is your NCC mesh. So if I go back here and look at that boundary, now you have this information. Was created automatically by that utility. So this is all that information related now to those patches. This one, NCC, still exists. Okay, they remain patch. And here in 0, when you define those NCC, usually I recommend to put here, here, this constraint to take all these NCC, the new that you created. It will take very specific patches. Then the definition will be this one, for velocity in that patch. Pressure will be, the rest will be 0 gradient. Okay, K also 0 gradient. Velocity is the only one that takes this specific definition. And that's it, okay? So at this point, I think nothing to add. As you see, the meshing process was exactly the same as the previous cases. The only thing that now we added that new region, we can split it, and we're ready to go. So if I go, let me open again, paraview, apply here. And also when you open paraview, it will give also this diagnostic. It will tell you the quality of interpolation and so on. But if you go here, you will see that you have those patches, all that information, your non-coupled faceZone, where you're going to interpolate solution, and that's it. At this point, we're ready to go. So now that we have the mesh, let's move to the simulation stage using the MRF. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye.